Hello everyone. Previously, we have learned about the benefits of ISO 14031. How does ISO 14031 work? Indicator of ISO 14031 and how company measures EPE. Now, we have reached the last subtopic for our webinar today, which is the case study of environmental performance evaluation. As shown on the screen, in this video, we will cover on 3 case studies of EPE. The first case study is a research study by Mohammadi et al. On 2021 with title, Presenting an Environmental Performance Evaluation Model for Gas Refineries, a case study in the South Pars Gas Complex, Iran. This case study assesses the environmental performance of Iran's gas refineries using the Environmental Performance Evaluation (EPE) method, which is based on the Operational Performance Index (OPI) and Management Performance Index (MPI). This case study was carried out at the 9th refinery of the South Pars Gas Complex (SPGC) in Bushehr Province, Iran, from 2019 until 2020. There are 2 stages of the method used in this study. The first stage uses the Fluffy Delphi strategy to distinguish the MPI and OPI standards and markers. The second stage is concentrating on and delegating loads to the measures and indicators using the Logical, Analytical Hierarchy Process, AHP, before validating the results using the TOPSIS. Next, the result of the study showed that the total OPIT and OPTT average scores were determined to be 2.3409 and 2.2647, respectively. In light of these coefficients, the organization's environmental performance is in equilibrium. Petrochemical industries have the potential to impact the environment negatively due to the nature of their activities and effluent production, emissions, and hazardous wastes. Now, let us move to the second case study. The study is Environmental Performance Evaluation of Different Municipal Solid Waste Management Scenarios in China, by Liu and Liu, 2017. This study used a life cycle inventory analysis and impact assessment to determine the advantages and disadvantages of each waste management strategy. The environmental performances of these management methods on multiple dimensions, such as waste reduction, stabilization, material recovery, energy recovery, and greenhouse gas (GHG) reductions, are used to evaluate the advantages and disadvantages of each waste management strategy. Next is the material and methodology used in the study. There are 2 methods used, which is waste material rate. The waste reduction indicator is the mass ratio of recycled and reduced waste to raw waste. Another method is GHG reduction. The GHG emissions in each treatment scenario are calculated based on the ISO 14064 standards, ISO 2006C, 2006D, 2006E. The results showed the high moisture content of raw MSW in China is a notable feature. There were significant differences in GHG emissions between these waste disposal scenarios. In conclusion, the proportion of biodegradable fractions, mainly food waste, is expected to decrease with economic development and become more pure as MSW classification is promoted. The last case study is Environmental Performance Evaluation of a Rubber Glove Manufacturing Company, a case study by Bakhti and Cheyenne, 1999. Generally, Perusahaan Pelindung Geta, PPGM, is a small private limited Malaysian firm founded in 1998. The researcher chose the company to be studied due to the small size of its operations and the lack of an environmental management system, EMS. That is why PPGM has no environmental policy or management system. However, management has agreed to analyze environmental performance using ISO 14031. Thus, the company tried to show the relationship between EPE indicators and environmental performance requirements. The performance evaluation was started with the planning of EPE. The management of PPGM decided to plan their EPE based on the environmental aspects related to the company's activities, the views of selected interested parties, and some selected environmental performance criteria. As shown on the screen, Table 1 lists the significant environmental aspects of PPGM. It explains the environmental aspects of the company's products and activities that were identified. Next, after reviewing public statements, minutes of meetings, and discussions with interested parties, the necessary interested parties were identified as indicated in Table 2. Besides that, in the plan for the development of the EPE process, the following environmental performance criteria were selected. The first one is total compliance with regulations. Secondly, zero public complaints about its operations. Thirdly, minimal adverse environmental effects, example meeting ambient air quality standards. Fourth, maintaining fewer than 5% of gloves discarded per product requirements. Lastly, maintaining gloves with less than or equivalent to 0.3 mg extractable protein per gram of rubber. The table shows the chosen indicator of EPE of the study. In conclusion, 6 months after commencing EPE, the company analyzed and updated numerous indicators to improve the process. The company needed EPE as an internal environmental management tool and an EMS following ISO 14001 to remain competitive. That's all for this subtopic. Let's watch the short video before we move to the next agenda. Thanks.
So everyone, how to collect the data? Today I'm going to talk about it. Data collection should be supported by quality control and also quality assurance practices to ensure data obtained are of the type and quality needed for EPE. The second one, data collection procedures should ensure data reliability. This depends on factors such as availability, advocacy, scientific and statistical validity, and verifiability. The third one, which is data collection procedure, should include the appropriate identification, storage, retrieval, filling, and disposition of data and information. For example, monitoring and measuring, interview and observation, the regulatory reports, environmental review, audit of assessment reports, and consumer and interested parties, lastly and business association.
Alright, next we go on to the using data and information for environmental performance evaluation used in reporting and communicating. Right? So reporting and communicating. So which is provide useful information which in describing an organization environmental performance improvement and achievement. Right? So the information may be reported or communicated to interested parties or organization within and outside the organization based on management assessment of needs and its audience. So benefit using data and information for EPE, which is helping the organization achievement of its environmental performance objective. Number 2, increase awareness and dialogue about the organization, environmental policies, environmental performance objective, and other relevant achievement. Right. Number 3 is demonstrating the organization commitment and effort to improving environmental performance. Alright, that's all from me. Thank you.
In EPE ISO 14013 clauses, the fourth clause is reviewing and improve EPE. An organization's EPE should be reviewed periodically to identify opportunity for improvement. These are the phases in reviewing EPE and result for improvement.
Next is phase in reviewing EPE. Purpose in reviewing EPE. First is achieve the effectiveness of environmental protection and its cost. The second is the advancement in achieve criteria of environmental protection. The third is the appropriateness of criteria of environmental protection. Next is the appropriateness of select environmental performance indicator. And the last one is source of data, method collection of data and data quality.
Example question to assist in reviewing EPE. The organization can ask a few questions. For example, is the organization providing appropriate and useful information to management? Second, is the organization utilizing appropriate data sources and frequencies data collection? Third, is the organization being implemented according to plan? Next, is the organization providing adequate information to measure changes in the organization's environmental performance? Next, does organization addressing new environmental issues?
Now I would like to share about Environmental Performance Evaluation 3. On the screen now are the Environmental Performance Evaluation 3 created by 2003. This EPE 3 shows the common method of environmental performance evaluation. The route consists of 3 theoretical routes and the branch consists of method in EPE. The method are graphical visualization, EMS procedure of aspect evaluation, EPE by ISO 14031, eco-efficiency evaluation, eco-balance, environmental cost accounting, multi-step environmental classification, eco-ratings, environmental performance index, eco-point systems, and translation into complex. I think that's all from me. Thank you.